In last week's video, I started on another renovation of my half bath. I cut down some 1/4-inch plywood to form planks for the wood ceiling. I also constructed a couple of beams out of a 1x6 and a couple 1x4s. Everything got a few coats of stain to really warm up the space, and then I installed the planks using my nail gun. Had a little help installing the beams because they were quite heavy, but we got them into place in the end, and this is how the space turned out. So follow along as we see what else that we're going to do to this bathroom. Before we get to work in the bathroom, I want to tell you guys about today's sponsor, Italic, and they sent over their Luxe Sateen sheet set. So I'm going to use these in my daughter's room because we recently upgraded her bed and she's been wanting some really nice sheets. Bedding in fine resorts is made to last thousands of uses and wash cycles, unlike the bedding that we normally buy. But Italic sheets are made at the same place as the Ritz-Carlton, St. Regis, and Four Seasons, and they normally cost over $1,000 a set. The Luxe Sateen sheet set from Italic is much more budget friendly than that, and they're also Ecotech certified, meaning that they're ultra clean. The long staple cotton, which is also known as Pima cotton, is grown sustainably in Australia, and it's woven with a high thread count and a uniquely sateen pattern, so it's a really indulgent, silky feeling that stays crisp and cold, which is great because my daughter is a hot sleeper. They also get softer each time you wash them. They were also rated one of the best bed sheets 2022 by the Strategist, GQ, and more. So if you guys want a luxury sheet set on a budget price, you can go to italic.com and find the sheet set there. I will link it down in the description. Make sure that you guys go check them out. Okay, let's jump right back into this bathroom. Like I mentioned in last video, I'm showing you guys more of the process along the way, from the design to getting the supplies to actually starting the project, because all of these things are important when doing DIYs. So I also mentioned in last week's video that I had created 2 designs for the bathroom, one being a darker green color, another being a design with some wallpaper. And I am still not 100% sure what color I'm gonna go for in here, but I have decided I am not going to do the wallpaper. I just don't wanna have too much going on in here with the ceiling that we did. And I think I have another place in my home that I want to use some wallpaper that's pretty close to this one, so I don't want those 2 things to be competing against each other. So I think that one's ruled out. Now I'm still making up my mind on colors and accent walls and things, but before we can even get there, this room needs some things that have to be repaired. So when I was installing the beams, I did do a little bit of damage to the drywall. It also had some previous drywall damage that I need to repair before we can even start painting. I need to demo some things like the accent wall behind me and the baseboard. So we have to do a lot of those prep steps, and a reminder to myself here that it's going to get worse before it gets better. Okay, things have escalated quickly. As I was taking off these little pieces here, just entire, like, it looked like a thick layer of paint was just coming off with it, which was kind of crazy because the only part that didn't come off was this is where I had patched it previously when we had a leak. So I don't know if there was something from like when the house was originally painted that it didn't adhere right. I have no idea. So it didn't take all of the texture off, just like the paint started peeling off. But I did pull some of the drywall paper, the outermost layer, off in some places. Now I don't want to go in just with paint or primer because that could bubble. So I need to seal this area first so I can like use, I think I'm gonna use the Ben Shellac primer. It's a sealer too, and so it'll seal that to keep it from bubbling, and then I can go back in and skim coat with some drywall mud and then texture, and then maybe we would be finally ready to paint. This is a perfect example of things not going like you expect them to in DIY. I thought I was gonna rip off this accent wall in 10 minutes tops, but it turned into almost an all-day thing of getting all that off because it just kept coming off. And I'm going to be working on it for a while to get it ready for paint, but I want it done right. I don't want it to start peeling or getting little cracks in it, so that's just gonna take some time. But in the meantime, before I go back to work on that, I'm going to remove the rest of the baseboards in here, these shells from off of here, and do as much as I can to prep for paint. In order to remove this last baseboard right here, I need to remove this vanity from the wall, which I was going to do anyway because I need to replace this countertop. But that is a problem for tomorrow me because today has been frustrating, and I think I'm going to go get the supplies to finish up this wall. Okay, it's the next day and I don't know how y'all's morning is going, but hopefully better than mine. I wanted to work on the drywall today, all of the patching, and I knew I was going to be moving this vanity over against the wall because I could see right here and it would stay dirty and drive me nuts. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna pull out the vanity real quick before I start doing that because I knew I would have to patch right there. And this piece right here, something broke, I don't know, water spewing everywhere. And it soaked everything before I could get to the street to shut off the water at the main. It also soaked the vanity, which was made of MDF, so I don't even know if that's gonna be completely ruined. I mean, I was gonna replace the countertop anyway, but that's really frustrating. And now I have to figure out what's wrong with this before I can turn the water back on to the whole house. So before I even attempt to do that, I'm gonna get all of these towels, everything dried out. I hope the floors will be okay, we'll see. But also this drywall, this like raw drywall over here got really wet, so I can't start working on that. So I'm gonna bring in the like portable air condition, has a dehumidifier on it, point it at that wall and see if we can get it dry. I was trying to make the best out of a bad situation here, so we headed to Home Depot to get some supplies. I am getting bender boards. I've used these on my channel in the past. They are, I think, 1/8 inch thick and 3.5 inches wide, and they're really good for accent walls. They're very lightweight. So I'm grabbing a few of those because I'm going to be using those on my wall treatment. I also needed some quarter round because that's going to be between the bottom of the wall treatment and the floor. And then I needed the piece to fix the water shut off. So that needs to be replaced. And then just loading everything up in the car. I usually take my car when I am having boards that are flexible or not nearly as long. Otherwise, I'll take the truck because I put the longer or bigger boards in the back of it. Okay, back from the store. All dry. The wall is dry. This is the culprit right here. This piece that it's the shut-off valve for the water just broke, and that's why everything went crazy. So I got a replacement piece. We'll be replacing this. The water is still turned off at the street, so we're gonna see if we can replace this piece. That way that won't happen again. Okay, this is all repaired. No more leaking. The wall is dry now. So we can finally get started with what I was planning on doing today, and that is starting to repair this wall. So I can't just texture over this paper here because it will most likely bubble. So I'm using this primer. I love this stuff. It's a shellac primer from Zinsser, and I'm just gonna paint over this these areas right here that are kind of raw. The paper is exposed. Okay, because of all the drama of the day, I realized I haven't even told you guys the plan for this bathroom. So I'm thinking for the walls, once we get them repaired and the drywall where it needs to be, I want to do a simple accent wall in here. Well, is it an accent wall if it's all of the walls? I want to do a simple wall treatment in here because the ceiling that we've got going on is, you know, a lot for this room. So I want to just do some battens, maybe run some horizontal pieces at the top and the bottom, and then just do maybe 3 battens on each wall. And I'm still trying to decide on the color. So I have a few paint samples that I want to swatch in here just so I can see how they look during the day, at night. I don't want to overwhelm the space and do too dark because the ceiling did make the space darker, but I think we can do a little bit moodier than this white color that we have going on in here now. This first color is one of my favorites. I've used it on the exterior of my home, in the garage, also the back of my house, and it's called Lauriston Stone by Sherwin-Williams. This next one is called Pewter Green, also by Sherwin-Williams. I've seen it a lot. It's a really pretty deeper, more saturated green. I am worried that this one would be a little bit too dark for the space, that it might overwhelm it, but it's a really pretty color. And this one is called Thunderous by Sherwin-Williams. It's similar to pewter green, but it's got more gray in it. I used this in my bedroom makeover because it was not quite as green as the pewter green. It comes off more as a neutral, but it's still pretty dark. And this last one is called Gloucester Sage by Benjamin Moore, and I've seen it online a good bit, especially on this account, Style It Pretty Home on Instagram, and it's a really pretty, almost neutral green, so I think I have a lot of good options. Okay, I let all of these colors dry overnight, and first glance at them, I'm thinking this one might be too dark. Probably this one too. I love this color because it's just like a really good mix of gray and green. This one's more of a like brown green. So you guys will have to tell me what you think. Leave a comment down in the comment section with your favorite, whether it's the Lauriston Stone, Pewter Green, Thunderous, or the Gloucester Sage. Another thing that I do a lot in preparation for all the videos is ordering all of the materials. So I ordered a bunch of stuff for the bathroom. I like to use brass a lot, which is unfortunately not nearly as available in stores, and ordering it online can be tricky because it can be like a brushed brass that's like or a satin brass that's like a brighter gold, and so sometimes they don't match up. So I ordered a bunch of stuff, and so let's check it out. I'll show you guys. I got a toilet paper holder like I used in my main bathroom. It's recessed into the wall, and I love it. It takes up less space. So I ordered a couple colors of that just so I could compare them. Here is the other one, which is a little bit more muted, I think. Similar. So like this is kind of more of a satin brass, I guess, and this is more of a antique brass. They're not super different, but I'll have to compare them to the other fixtures. Another thing that I did in my main bathroom that a lot of you guys seem to like was replace the handle on the toilet. I am going to be replacing the toilet in this bathroom because it's a shorter round one currently, and I want like a grown-up one in here. So I ordered the same handle that I used in that bathroom in this like gold brass color, but then I also saw this one too, and I thought that this one was really interesting. It has the brass and the white. So I don't know, I'm not sure which one of these I'm gonna use. Let me know which one you like better. And the last thing is a new light. I haven't even opened this one up yet, so let's see. These are the shades. They're like a milky white, and this is the base. It's like that antique brass, not the really golden brass. So I think that that's gonna look good with this. I'll pop up a picture just so you can see how it looks all put together, but I'm really liking it so far. It was a pretty good price too. I got all of this off of Amazon, so I will link it in the description. And this is where we're gonna stop for today's video. I got this much done of how much I wanted to get done in this video, and I really even considered not putting up a video this week, but I wanted to show you guys real life. Sometimes things happen like this in projects and there are unexpected delays, but we'll get there in the end. Don't forget to let me know which color that you like the best, and make sure that you're subscribed and give this video a like. Next week I will be back with another video and hopefully more progress in this bathroom. I'll see you guys then. Bye.